Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So now we are going to see the chapter the world during the world wars of class 10 social studies. Of class 10 the social studies, the world during world wars is the part 2 about the Russian socialist revolution. Okay, so the Russian socialist revolution. So the Russian revolution, so that this is all about in the country of the Russia. So you can see the map of the Russia there very clearly. It is a very large country. Okay, this revolution occurred between 1917 to 1922. So which years? 1917 to 1922. So these 2 years. So the date of the Russian Revolution, if you see the date, the calendars will be there, right? Now throughout the world we follow only one calendar, but before was not like that. Country used to have one calendar. So in Russian they have a calendar. The Russian followed the Julian calendar. The name of the calendar that Russians followed was Julian calendar until 1st February 1918. So till 1918, 1st February they followed that calendar. The country then changed to the Gregorian calendar. That is that this calendar is followed by most of the countries in the world. Only Russian was followed Julian calendar until 1918. But in February 1st, 1918, after that it changed into Gregorian calendar, which is followed everywhere today. Now even today we follow Gregorian calendar. Okay, the Gregorian dates are 13 days ahead of the Julian dates. So if we compare these two calendars, what is the difference means? The Gregorian dates are 13 days ahead of the Julian dates. So by our calendar, the February, now we call, if any revolution occurred in February, we call it February Revolution. But whereas in Julian calendar, that revolution will be occurred on March 12th. So that is the difference. It is 13 days ahead, right? So if any in February revolution, but it will be observed as March revolution. That only if any revolution occurred in October, they call it as that occurred in 7th of November. So in this way, there's a lot of confusion for them, not to the total world, as they won't bother about the country, but to them itself there is a lot of problems. So they converted from a Julian calendar to Gregorian calendar. So now March Revolution. Okay, March Revolution. Tsar Nicholas II ruled over his vast Russian empire like any autocrat with the help of the army and bureaucracy. Now this you can see the word TSAR. The T is silent there, so we pronounce it as Tsar or Tsar, whatever, Tsar or Tsar. The Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russian empire like any autocracy, and with the help of the army he ruled the Russian till then. The Russian economy was ruined by the First World War. As the First World War occurred, yes, we saw the in first part we have seen causes, what and so on. We have seen about the First World War. Because of the First World War, this Russian economy was ruined. It was damaged. It caused a lot of damage to the Russian country or empire, whatever. So who is the ruler of the Russian empire at that time? Tsar Nicholas II. Remember the name, Tsar Nicholas II. So now Tsarist Russian was a vast landmass spread over 2 continents, making it a Euro-Russian power. So Tsarist Russian, that Russian was a vast landmass. It was a vast landmass over 2 continents, making it a Euro-Asian power. So it is in Europe, and it is 2 continents, right? Continents means Europe and Asia. They are the 2 continents. So Euro-Asian power we call it as. Okay. So the next point, it comprised of several nations like Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Ukraine. So like this, the Euro Asian power consists of several nations like Russia, Ukraine, and so on. These are very etc. Now, it had the third largest population in the world, that is 156 million after India and China. But this is the present is it is wrong, because Russia is the largest populated country but not the third. Okay, it may be like 6th, 7th like that, but not the third. The wrong information is given here. Okay, basically Russia was an agricultural country. Russia was an agricultural country. Even India is an agricultural country, right? So as the most of the lands was owned by the feudal lords, the peasants paid rents to the feudal lords to cultivate the land. The most of the land, feudal lords were the highest, right? So they used to have lots and lots of land. Okay, those lands are taken by the peasants for rent, and they cultivate on that land, and they have to pay rent to the feudal lords. Okay, now their work continuous struggle for land between peasants and feudal lords. So they used to work continuously for on that land given by the feudal lords to the peasants. Peasants used to work a lot, to struggle a lot. Even though they used to struggle, if they cultivate paddy, in return a result, like after cultivating the paddy they get paddy, right? That in that half they have to give to the feudal lords, and then to their for them own, right? The kings of Russia were called Tsars, right? T is silent, I have told you. Tsars or Tsars. Okay, the kings of Russia are called Tsars. Remember, the kings of Russia were called Tsars. So now next slide. The Russian army was the largest in the world before the World War I. By 1917, it had lost 2 million soldiers and civilians in the World War and became the biggest loser of human lives. Before World War I, that is before 1914. Right, World War I occurred between 1914 to 1918. Right, before World War I, that is before 1914, the Russia used to have a lot of army people, like soldiers. By 1917, that is before the ending of the World War I, it had lost 2 million soldiers. That means a lot of loss to the Russian army, right? 2 million means, you can think, and civilians in the World War, and became the biggest loser of human lives. Who became the biggest loser of human lives in World War I? The question in MCQs. Remember, the Russia became the biggest loser of human lives in World War I. Okay, now during the war, the food stock was diverted to the war, from leading to a shortage of food in the country. Now, as a war is going on, the soldiers, the army people who have to fight for their country had no food. So the food in the country was taken to the army people and given to them. As the because of that, the country had got shortage of food. Okay, that on March 8, 1917, around 10,000 women of the capital, St. Petersburg, took out a procession demanding peace and bread. The workers and other residents also joined. Okay, on 8th March 1917, that is before the World War, as they are not getting the food, around 10,000 women, the angry women, the hunger women, they are from one side they are feeling hunger, and from one side they are very angry. So like that, 10,000 women of the capital. So what is the capital of Russia? St. Petersburg. Okay, St. Petersburg took out a procession demanding that they went on a procession. They are demanding peace and bread. They want peace and bread. That means they want food. Along with food, they want peace in the country as they are facing many problems. The workers and other residents also joined the procession, because what they are doing is the right thing, because they want the peace and they want the bread. So these two. Now peace and bread were the basic demands of the workers and the exploited. So only these two are the main the people are demanding. Okay, peace and bread. Okay, now in that box you can see peace, land and bread, Lenin's slogan. So Lenin's slogan, peace, land and bread, promised equality for everyone. So Lenin, they promised equality for everyone. Phrase that united Russia. Phrase that united Russia. So Russia is in a very bad condition, that it lost many army and they don't have peace in the country. They don't have food to eat, as many people were angry and went on a procession for peace and bread, like that. Russia is in a very bad condition during the World War I. Okay, this you can understand from the total the Russian Socialist Revolution, the March Revolution especially. Okay, now we will have even other one. The first in that the date of the calendar we have seen March Revolution and October Revolution. Okay, first let's see some more information about them. Okay, now Tsar Nicholas II we have discussed in the first one. Yeah, Tsar Nicholas II was shocked at the protest and ordered the army to suppress the demonstrators. Instead, the soldiers joined the demonstrators. So, Tsar Nicholas II was shocked at the protest, as the people are doing protest, right? Because they want peace and bread, right? And ordered the army. So he was observing all, and he ordered the army to suppress the demonstrators. But instead, what the army people did, they joined the demonstrators. The king actually told to suppress the demonstrators. Instead, the soldiers joined the demonstrators. In just 2 days, Tsar left the throne and escaped. The Tsar Nicholas II, who was there, right, who was ruling the Russia at that time, he was observing all the things going on, and he was really afraid, and he was shocked, and he was escaped. Okay, now non-autocratic Russians made a provisional government. Now how the Russian people will live without a king, or before the king and queen should be there to rule the people, right? As he left, there is no rule like that. So autocratic government, the provisional government was made. So this was the first Russian Revolution and was called as March Revolution. So this, in the history of the Russia, this was the first Russian Revolution, and this was called March Revolution. Okay, as it occurred mostly in the March, it is called March Revolution. So we have even the October Revolution. I have told you before, even we have October Revolution. We shall discuss about that. So now October Revolution, we have seen the March Revolution and all the things about it. Now October Revolution, a bigger revolution took place in October. Here you can see in the sentence a bigger revolution. That means more than the March Revolution, this is more bigger. That maybe in cause of damage or property or something might be. A bigger revolution took place in October 1917. Known as October Revolution. Okay, the rulers means liberals and autocrats will be there, right? They wanted to continue the war in honor of their fatherland. Now now in March Revolution we have seen the farmers, peasants. Now they have become old and their sons will get the land, right? So they wanted to continue the war. They want to continue the war in honor of their father's land. They want to get justice like that. Yeah, but the common people were not for the war. Whereas the rulers, the liberals and aristocrats, they wanted to continue the war. Okay, the people organized themselves into councils, which were called as Soviets. Now we have even in our areas also we have council, right? Council we say. So even at that time, people organized themselves into councils, and they were called Soviets. So they were called Soviets. The Soviets were the voice of soldiers. The Soviets were the voice of soldiers, industrial workers, and rural population. Now the common people, you can say, they were the voice of the common people, like ruler population, workers, industrial workers, soldiers, like that. Okay. The power of the common people was expressed through a group of Russian Communist Party called Bolsheviks. So the power of common people. Now the common people are afraid for their king and queen at that time, right? They used to have, oh king, oh queen, we have to not do like that. They used to have fear on them. So how can they express their power? So it was expressed through a group, through a group of Russian Communist Party called Bolsheviks. So they formed a group called Russian Communist Party. They are called Bolsheviks. So who are called Bolsheviks? The common people. The common people, to show their power, to express their power, they formed into a group called Russian Communist Party, and they are called Bolsheviks. Clear? Okay. So now the next slide, the Bolsheviks. Okay, the Bolsheviks were led by Vladimir Lenin. So in the common people also, they have to be a leader, right, to rule, to lead a group of people. Like, so the leader of the Bolsheviks party is Vladimir Lenin. You can see the picture of him there, the side. The Bolsheviks were able to win the confidence of the Soviets. Okay, the Bolsheviks, we have seen Soviets, the councils, right? The Bolsheviks were able to win. They were able to win the confidence of the Soviets. Okay, now what are the demands of the Bolsheviks? What Bolsheviks demanded? Immediate and unconditional peace. They want the peace in their country, not always the wars and the blood around all over the country, not like that. They want the peace, right? Immediate and unconditional peace they want. Okay, and then the second is nationalization of all land and its redistribution to the peasants. Okay, nationalization of all land, and it's if some members have 5 acres of land, if another member have only half acre, so if they redistribute it equally, they can live very happily, right? That is the thing. Now third is control over prices. If the prices of the things are very high, and the poor people which don't have enough money to buy them, how can they live? So the prices should be control over prices, not high, not too low, the medium which everybody can buy. Okay, now and the fourth one, nationalization of all factories and banks. Okay, this is related to factories and banks. Okay, now finally in November 1917, the Bolsheviks seized the power from the provisional government. We have seen in the before one, as the Tsar Nicholas II was escaped, right? They formed the provisional government, as they doesn't like, the Russian people doesn't like, few of them doesn't like the provisional government. They formed this Bolsheviks, right? They seized the power from the provisional government. Okay, this is all about the Bolsheviks. Now we have even the other slide. Let's go to the other slide. So now immediately Bolsheviks took steps to end the war and redistributed land. As they were demanded, they won over the provisional government, right? So immediately they took steps to end the war, so that they won the peace, to end the war, and then they redistributed to the land to all the people. Now meanwhile, civil war broke out between Russia White Army and anti-communist soldiers with the help from Britain, France, USA and Japan. Now first, to know this, we need to understand the word civil war. What is civil war? The war between the country itself. Okay, the war between the country itself. Now in Russia, in country itself, a war broke out, that is between Russian White Army and anti-communist soldiers. So in a country only, they divided into 2 groups and they want to have a war. That is civil war. Okay, the war broke out with the help from Britain, France, USA and Japan. So they took even these countries' help also. Even though it is a civil war, they took other countries' help. Okay, now by 1920, Bolsheviks defeated all foreign forces. Okay, in 1920, after the World War One completion totally, they defeated all foreign forces, as they want to live in their country independently. Okay, without all the wars. Right now, Bolsheviks ended Russian Empire and allowed various nations to become independent. Bolsheviks ended Russian Empire. No empire should present in the Russian, and allowed various nations to become independent. They allowed all the nations to become independent. Eventually, most of the nations agreed to join the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. This is very important full form: Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR. USSR, the full form is Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. So in eventually all the nations agreed to join this USSR in 1922. They set up by the Soviet government of Russia. So government of Russia formed this USSR. It formed this, and again all the nations also accepted to join this. Okay, now finally USSR was built without exploiters like feudal lords, kings, or capitalists. Now finally the USSR was built without any distractions, like like a king, like. Now USSR tried to build an industrialized and modern country without any discrimination of people on the basis of birth, gender, language, etc. So even this USSR is doing good for the people, right? It want no discrimination in the country. It want no discrimination in the country, that is based on birth, gender, language, etc. It want to treat all the people equally. So equality should maintain. Like that, it tried it in many ways. Okay, we shall see the next one now. Now the other topic, rise of Stalin. Okay, rise of Stalin. Now Stalin is a person. You can understand by the name itself. Rise of Stalin is a person who came into the power. Okay, now Joseph Stalin emerged at the leader of the Communist Party after the death of Lenin in 1924. Okay, now we have discussed the Bolsheviks party was led by Vladimir Lenin. But after the death of the Lenin in 1924, this Stalin came into the power. He became the leader. Okay, now he established his absolute control and put an end to opposition. Now when he came, he put an end to opposition with his absolute control. That means he is also a very good person who ruled very nicely without any discrimination, you can say. He used undisputed power to build the USSR. He used undisputed power to build USSR. Okay, now planned economic development. In 1928, Stalin began a program of planned economic development with its 5-year plans. Okay, now this Stalin planned so that he can do all the things in a planned way, in a good manner. Okay, in 1928, Stalin began a program. He began a program of planned economic development with 5-year that is a 5-year plan. Okay, now the twin objectives of Stalin, the 5-year plans. He did 5-year plans, right? There are two objectives. What are they? Fast industrialization, fast industrialization, and the second is collectivization of agriculture. First is fast industrialization, second is cultivation of agriculture. So these two are the objectives of the Stalin's 5-year plans. Even this was observed by India. At that time the Jawaharlal Nehru was there, right, for prime minister. So he observed all this, and he thought, what even in our country, if we plan like this 5-year plan, so even in our country India, we have 5-year plans now. It was inspired by them. Okay, Now, impact of Russian Revolution on the world. Now, this Russian Revolution has taken place. Now, how the world is feeling? What is the point of view that how the Russian Revolution has occurred? What is the impact? Okay, the success of USSR inspired a large number of people all over the world, including M.N. Roy, Rabindranath Tagore, and Nehru. Okay, the success of the USSR became a very success, right? That was inspired by a large number of people all over the world. Okay, even in our country, like M.N. Roy, Rabindranath Tagore, Jawaharlal Nehru, like many great people. In fact, like George Orwell, in his novel Animal Farm, felt panic about the elimination of opposition and the disclaim of multi-party democracy and lack of freedom. But if everybody almost all over the world they liked this Russian Revolution, it became successful. That means they learned something or the other. But George Orwell, he wrote very bad about that. He is a writer, so that in his novel Animal Farm, he wrote that the elimination, he felt panic about elimination of opposition. They in Russian Revolution they eliminated their opposition, right? Stalin eliminated his opposition, and the disclaim of multi-party democracy and and also the lack of freedom. So he didn't like that, so he wrote somewhat bad about the thing in his novel Animal Farm. So you can see 4 pictures there: M.N. Roy, Rabindranath Tagore, Jawaharlal Nehru, and the last one is a George Well, who is a writer. In his novel Animal Farm, he wrote like that. Okay, this is the impact of Russian Revolution on the world. That means throughout the world. Okay, so if you can observe, you can see this is the first in the part 1 I have shown you the topics which I have to cover in this lesson. So till now you have seen the Russian socialist revolution in this part 2, and in part 1 you have seen the above 4 one, and the below one I am going to do in the part 3. And this is all about this thing, and please do watch part 1 and part 2. Okay, so this is the part 2, and watch part 1, and part 3 is coming soon, and it may take part 4 also if they are not sufficient. So this is the thing. Like, share and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Thank you.